Hello, YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope. My name's Tim. I'm here with American Hammers TV. We have a special Sunday episode. I have a special co-host, Reece. You might recognize him from our We Are the Girls in Claret and Blue podcast, our show. This is the first time he's actually co-hosted with me. So actually the first time I think I've been on with him. So this is kind of cool for me. And we have a special guest, Gregg Robson. This is the general, right on, as you can see by his name. It's Cam Robson's father.
That was given to me. That was given to me by a friend of mine, Adam Pennington. But there you go. I'll live with it. So.
So we interviewed Cam like last week. We had Steve Mothersole and Irish Tommy have a nice long chat with him, and that was just amazing. That was fantastic. Yeah, so we're gonna interview his father today. But real quick, I got to mention a few things I always got to mention, which is AmericanHammers.net. That's our website. You can watch any of our videos there if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, which you should be. Also, follow us on or like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We're doing very well over there. What else is there? We got a shop. We got a shop for UK residents, and we have a shop for everyone else in the world. And we got some really cool designs in there, as well as designs of local supporters groups here in America and also all over the world, like Ghana hammers and Russian hammers, etc., etc. So anything that you purchase in our shop that has to do with the supporters group gets half of the proceeds. So that helps them out with bar tabs and everything else, and social media, etc. So. Looks like our chat room's already off the hook. It's we got Tony Pearson in there who likes to do a lot of those hammers polls that we usually pull up, which we will be doing later, Tony. Neil from down under and watching from Australia. That's awesome. And Batters, Wayne.
Yeah.
Wayne.
It wouldn't take him long to get on there.
He's watching us over on Facebook. He says Google Robinson. Yeah. And metal in both legs. Nice to see you again. So anyone who wants to chime in as we are going along, I will do my best to pull up the comments on the screen so we can all see it no matter what you're watching on. That's Periscope, YouTube, and Facebook. It looks like someone's already telling me to go soft on you. Or, go on, soft lad. Never mind. Depends how you read it.
Yeah. He's a good mate of mine. He's a Spurs fan, but he's a good bloke. He is, Barry, but...
Oof. There's no, well, yeah. I mean, in America, there are no good Tottenham supporters. They're probably the worst people I've ever met in my life. I swear to God. Well, American. I'm not going to say anything about the UK's. But anyway,
he's the only one.
Well, awesome. So we like to do this. Usually, when we interview someone, we ask, okay, well, where are you from, and how on earth did you become a hammer? I think I already know the answer, but please let everyone know.
Talking to me or Reece?
Oh, you. Yeah, Reece is my co-host. I'm just interviewing you.
Right, okay. It runs in the family, really. As Cameron said last week, obviously he's a West Ham fan because of me. What it is was my dad. He took me to my first game. I remember it well. It was November 1969, long before both of you were born.
Yeah.
And I was obsessed ever since. Just growing up with West Ham, we lived a mile away from the ground. Just like at that age, and then just growing up just a little bit more and all that, and going with my dad and all that, and then like just getting near the ground and the floodlights and the smell, the smell of the hot dogs, just everything, the total, even the smell of all shit. You know what I mean? It's just everything. Yeah, it is, and seriously, everything connected with it. Just like as a kid growing up, and then you go in there, and the first time you go in there, or the first few times, then you walk up the steps and all that, and then or down the step, and then you see the big green pitch and the floodlights, the floodlight pylons. It's just brilliant and all that. And I was hooked and all that. And as I said, I only used to live a mile around the corner, and that was it. And then, like, obviously, I used to go on my own or with some mates and all that when my dad couldn't go anymore. And then, obviously, when Cameron was born, I took him at the age of two to three. And he's been going ever since, and that's it. I love going with him now. I couldn't contemplate going without him, and I very rarely go without him. So, and that's it. So, once West Ham's in your blood, like any other team, once it's in your blood, that's it. That's your team. We don't change.
Yeah. So I get this a lot. So what happened? Like the ups and downs over a period of time. Just being a West Ham supporter, it's never consistent, right? The club's never consistent. The team's never consistent. Does that add to your character, or is that your character already going in as a West Ham supporter? Is that what glues you to the club? I mean, I get asked that quite a bit.
Well, being a West Ham fan, there's more, there's more bad times than are good times. You just take it. You don't change the team. That's what you being a West Ham fan is all about. We don't expect to win anything. Anything we do win, you know what I mean? It's just a massive bonus. It's just, as I say, just being a West Ham fan is what it is. You know what I mean? You just go with the flow, and that's it. We don't win much. And I was saying to Cameron the other day, we've won the playoff finals and all that, but you've never seen us win a proper domestic trophy like the FA Cup or the League Cup. Well, we've never won the League Cup, but the FA Cup we haven't won for 40 years now, and I just want to go with him to actually experience that with my boy, and that's all that. And if we've done that once, that'd be me done.
Yeah, definitely. Real quick, I actually never got to ask Reece this. I don't think we've ever really interviewed him, but Reece, do you remember your first match?
Yeah, it was, funnily enough, my first season as a West Ham fan. I was introduced by my aunt to West Ham, and it was against Bolton, which was our first home game in the season we got relegated in 2010. Somehow after that match, I did seem to get hooked with West Ham despite the result. And it's one thing, it's like what Gregg said. For me, when I went to my first match, it was just the family atmosphere around that ground. I don't think we've got that at the London Stadium anymore from the few visits I've took there. But it was the family tradition. Everybody was together, and the atmosphere, I was just amazed by it. So that's how I became a West Ham fan. I've never looked back.
Yeah. Gregg, what do you think about the atmosphere now? I mean, has it improved over the last 4 years at all?
No, not at all. You can count on one hand the amount of games what we've had over there that have actually had a good atmosphere. Chelsea being the first season, Tottenham being the first season over there, but apart from that, just 2 or 3 others, and that's it. The atmosphere over there is shocking, but that's to do with the new breed of fan. Upson Park sometimes it wasn't always bouncing and all that. We had like the odd Sunday game over at Upson Park, and that was as dead as anything over there. Yeah. But it's just like the bowl and all that, and not just get into it. And it's not a nice place to go. Obviously, sitting away from on the pitch and all that is too far. Yeah. And just a whole match day, it's not the same as Upton Park. You had your own ritual and stuff like that, but here at Stratford, it's you come out of the station, or even after the game, you've got stop-go boards where people tell you, like, you can't go here, you can't go there. Westfield won't allow us in there. Yeah. And it's the atmosphere is rubbish over there, to be honest with you. I don't like the place. I go, as I said just previously, because of Cameron. If Cameron wasn't going, I wouldn't go. Yeah. Not that I don't love West Ham, it's just that I just can't get used to Stratford, and I don't think I ever will. And I've not got long to go anyway, but Cameron has, and he's got to bring his kid or children up to go over there. But I can't stand the place, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I've only been there 4 times, but I never went to Upton Park, so I can't really tell the difference between the two. Only from all these stories that I've heard doing all these interviews, and what I've seen, on YouTube and different interviews and different shows, or like Iron Man the movie even. But basically, what I'm gathering is that it's just it's the atmosphere that's outside the stadium. I mean, even if the team was playing very well at London Stadium, even if the team was smashing, City or United or Liverpool 7-0, it wouldn't make up for the fact that once you go out those doors into Stratford, it sucks. It's not the same. I mean, it's everything outside is what sucks. Sure, Carpenter's is amazing. The atmosphere there is electric. I haven't really been to the supporters club, so I can't really say about that, but I've heard some good reviews about that as well. There are some nice places scattered outside of London Stadium, but nothing is tight. Nothing is right there like it used to be at the Bowling Ground. So you think that could ever change, Gregg?
No, I don't. At Upton Park, you actually had everything like sort of within a half a mile to a mile radius. Just like the edge of East Ham, going up to Plaistow, and going over by Upton Park Station, and that was it. That was like, every pub was rammed and all that, every game and all that. This one here, you got like certain places, like you got the Ponzi bars over at Westfield where like overpriced drinks, overpriced food and stuff like that. And you never had that at Upton Park. Well, around Upton Park. And I don't think you're ever going to get all that spirit again, of like a lot of community feel and all that of being at West Ham.
One thing that was a bit of a shock for me when my first game at the London Stadium was when I was at the Boleyn. I could never ever remember an away section out singing West Ham at that ground. It just would never happen. And then my first game at the London Stadium was against Wolves last season, and the fact that Wolves outsung us, I sat there and I thought to myself, this ain't my West Ham anymore.
Yeah. But that's what fans sing when they're over there. You're not West Ham anymore. We know that more than anyone. We ain't West Ham anymore. Because there's tourists and stuff like that sitting around us. Then you get like, eating their popcorn and all that. It isn't a football stadium. That's all been said before. It isn't a football stadium. It's an athletic stadium.
Yeah.
But you get all the people around us or in different parts of the ground, and there's no atmosphere. Like everyone's split up from their mates who they're sitting with at Upton Park, and it's just you're sitting with a load of strangers. And even now, like games, you get certain people there. Next game, you get different people. So I know we've got 52,000 season ticket holders or 54, but it's you'll get people there that just buy the season ticket and then sell it on for the day or for the next game and all that. And it's not. We'll never get the atmosphere like we did at Upton Park. As I said earlier, yeah, okay, you had the odd Sunday game at Upton Park and it was flat and all that, but it's the majority of the time, 90-95% like that over at Stratford. It ain't ever going to change. I know they're going to bring the seats closer behind the goals next season, but that's not going to make any difference. Seriously, people have had enough and are walking away. I won't ever walk away, but
that's the tough part. That's the tough part that everyone, I guess, is struggling with. Some people, I guess, don't care either way, but it's the fact that we despise what is going on, but yet we can't necessarily not support the club. I mean, the team, right? I mean, it's our team. It's still our team on the pitch, right? And what sucks is, though, that they're not really showing that lately. This whole season, even last season, it was so up and down, and maybe even the season before that, and the season before, so on and so on and so on. Anyway, what do we do? It's one of those things where what can we do?
But Tim, we get behind the team. People, even like Steve Lomas and Gailey, Tony Gale, are now saying, we don't, we need to get behind the team. When we do our protests or whenever we go into that stadium, as much as we hate it, we get behind the team 100%. And that's it. But, no matter how much we get behind them, they're playing absolute crap at the moment.
Yeah.
So, and people are saying, like even on TalkSport or Sky, you need to get behind your team. We get behind our team. It doesn't make a difference whether you get behind them or not, because we're getting behind them. We're still not producing. Okay, put that down to Moyes as well for his pathetic team selection sometimes, and going to Man City the other night and not going for it. And sitting back, trying to not concede. Come on, what I mean? We get behind the team. We've got the protest over there this coming Saturday, where there's going to be thousands. But as soon as that's over, we'll be in a stadium cheering West Ham on till the 90th minute or whenever the final whistle goes.
Yeah.
So we do with the fans.
So the West Ham women, as Reece can attest to, we noticed that they beat the Liverpool Women's Club 4-2 today with two different braces, one from Marta Thomas and the other one from Adrienne Leon. Why can't we go ahead and try? Why can't we go for a 4-2 victory against Liverpool? I can already see it now. I get these friggin' lights in my face. Anyway, sorry. My blinds, I get sunlight shine through. Anyway, seriously, like, Moyes is going to go out there again with five in the back, right? He's going to do three center backs with two wing backs again, probably, and he's not going to go for it like he did against City. That is a problem.
Tomorrow night, he'll do the same thing at Liverpool. He'll do the same thing as he done at Man City the other night.
Yeah.
We've got Anderson on the bench. We've got Lanzini on the bench, who ain't been pulling up any trees lately, but Haller, record signing on the bench. 100 million quid's worth of talent on the bench the other night. And yet he comes out after Moyes and says, "Oh, the lads put in an excellent effort." Like, fuck, did they? We got battered. It was 2-0. It could have been 5 or 6. And Moyes is coming out with stuff like that.
I hate that. No, I knew that was going to happen. As soon as they blew the final whistle, I'm like, we have a bunch of group chats going on. I said, "Oh, we only lost 2-0. We're never going to hear the end of that one." You know, even though the performance was, it should have been 8-0, or more. But yet he was Moyes was so excited. He was so happy. He was so happy,
didn't it?
Huh?
In his interviews after, that's what he seemed. He seemed it was like a win he was talking about.
Great performance, I know. Allardyce used to do that too. Even though I feel that Allardyce probably would have done a better job this time around against City with the squad that we have now. Because my biggest gripe with Allardyce wasn't the fact that he went out for the draw against all the big clubs. It was the fact that he just had shitty signings. If he actually had a great squad, I mean, he could probably do a damn good job because he always had his team ready. He always had his team to go out there for a fight. Even Emmanuel Pogatetz and Razvan Rat, they're all running out there, at least trying to fight. They sucked. They were horrible players, but he had his team prepared and always.
Allardyce knew how to set up his team. He set up his defence first. He was a former centre half.
100%.
He set up his defenders first, and then from there. So I know people criticise Allardyce, but tell you what, there's a few people that like him back now because he wouldn't be in this position.
I know. I mean, well, compared to what we have, and people will say, well, hindsight's 2020. No, hindsight's not 2020. Who was excited that we re-signed Moyes? Were any of you guys excited that we re-signed Moyes?
Not at all.
Like before the Bournemouth match, of course. Reece, what about you?
The board said before. Sorry, Tim. Hold up. The board said before when we not released him, his contract came to an end. They said, "Oh, we're going in a different direction. We're not going to renew your contract." So they got Pellegrini, and everyone was going, "Yeah, lovely." You know what I mean? He's won the Premier League with Man City, and obviously that didn't work out. And then they go and get Moyes again. One, it's a cheap option, and two, they was going in a different direction. But then what? They've gone and got Moyes back again. So we're not going in a different direction. We're going in the same direction, and there is no direction. Well, where is it?
But almost backwards in a way, right? I mean, technically backwards. Yeah, but I don't know. And then we have that brilliant performance against Bournemouth, and everybody got excited, and everybody forgot that he had like a 20-something% winning percentage. But anyway, he saved us. He did his job. Barely, but anyway.
Well, Moyes was out of a job. Moyes was out of a job for 18 months when we got rid of him.
Yeah.
So if he's that good a manager, why didn't anyone come in for him? Seriously, it's won nothing, and yet he comes to us and says, "Oh, I'm a winner. That's what I do. I win." No, you don't, Moyes.
Yeah.
Well, you haven't done it. Well, a couple of games since you've been with us, but you don't win, mate.
What were you saying, Reece?
For me, with Moyes, when he was appointed, I was one of them fans, Tim, that said he kept us up, and I thought, for where we were under Pellegrini, felt like he was the right man for the job then, to take us maybe for 6 months and then we rebuild next season. However, I think a massive thing as a fan is always to admit when you were wrong. And for me now, I look at the team and I'm in a predicament. Was I wrong that David Moyes being the right man for the job, or is he doing everything with players that doesn't suit his system? So that's where I'm trying to find my point of view with Moyes yet. I do think maybe in January, if he would have had a bit more money to get his signings through, I think he would have been in a better position now. However, like I said, only time will tell with Moyes. The only thing that worries me is I think if he keeps us up by a point, it will paper over the cracks.
Yeah, 100%. So since Everton, he hasn't done anything except supposedly, he kept us up in the 2017-18 season. He did his job. Yeah. So everybody's excited about that fact. That's all he's got on his resume since he left Everton, really. Seriously, except, relegating Sunderland, doing a shitty job at Man United. He went over to Spain and fucked that up. You know what I mean? What has he done? So anyway, what it need? Oh my God, it's so frustrating. I can't even speak. Anyway, the point is that the board. It looks as though the board needed a puppet, and he was the only one willing to do the job.
He's a yes man, Tim. That's what David Moyes is. He's a yes man.
Yeah.
That's why they got him back. Cheap, as I said just now, cheap option, and he's a yes man.
Yeah,
He's trying to get Stuart. He's trying to get Stuart Pearce back as his number 2, like he did last time, because Pearcey spoke out against the board on certain things.
Yeah,
they told him, no, we don't want him back.
Yeah,
Pearce said before. He said when he first joined us last year, or when he joined us before, that he's never even met Gold, Sullivan, and Brady.
That's all he
when
said.
He came to the club. He
That's
never
all
even
he said.
saw them.
I know, but that's all he said. He said it was kind of strange. All he said it was kind of strange that I didn't even see them. That's all he said. He didn't say anything bad about them. He didn't really talk shit, you know?
No, but he's saying, like, I didn't see them and all that, like, in the 6 months he was with us. Well, hang on a minute. Like, he's joining us as like, a number 2. Well, he must have met somebody at the club to actually, like, sign his contract and all that. He's never met the 3 owners. I find that a bit, nothing on Pearce's part, but if that's really the owners not meeting our assistant manager or whatever you want to call him, come on. This is a Premier League club. We're not talking about a Sunday League outfit here, although it's run like a Sunday League outfit, and as everyone knows, it's run like a fucking circus. We know that.
Oh yeah, it's been that way. I am excited that we did bring back Kevin Nolan. In the coaching staff, because in case anything happens, I would love to see him either A, assistant manager, or B, manage the club one day. The guy is a hard ass. He's passionate about West Ham. He loves the club. He knows, he knows the Premier League too.
But will he bounce off of Moores, or will Moores bounce off of Nolan? It's just
no. He'll probably end up getting in a fist fight. I can see Nolan getting in a fist fight.
2 totally different characters there. So will it work for Kevin Nolan? I like Kevin Nolan. I liked him as a player there.
Yeah.
But will it work? Will he work with Moyes there? Will it work?
Well, we have
work with Sam there.
Yeah.
It worked with Sam there. Not I'm just saying. But if Sam Allardyce was there, I'll tell you what, them 2 work well together.
No manager with any bollocks would want to work for these 3. You're right.
That's Auntie Ginge, that is.
We do have a question in the on YouTube actually for you. It says, if we go down, would it be the ultimate exposing of GSB's terrible running of the club and give them no more excuses to make? Greg, what do you think? Then I'll ask Reece after.
I'll tell you what, hopefully they won't be there. If we go down, what more can they do? They've had 10 years of giving a shit and lies and stuff like that. Surely they'd look to sell the club then. Not that they'd get much for it, because we haven't got any assets apart from 3 training grounds or 4 training grounds. We've got no other assets. We've got no ground to sell. Or we've got no ground that we can call our own. So renting an athletics stadium over in like Ackley Marshes and all that, that's no good. 4 training grounds, and that's the only assets apart from the players. Wow, and he was apparently asking for 650 million when Red Bull came in a few years ago. How can he ask that? Newcastle have got their own stadium. Yeah, they're up for sale at like 200 million. Come on. They're just greedy fuckers. That's all they are. They're in it for the pound note.
Yeah. Reece, what do you think about this question?
I think if we go down, I personally think they will sell the club. However, one thing that really worries me as well, because Tim, you'll know, I always look at things now on a woman's football point of view as well with this. The thing that worries me is if we go down, will the budget for the women's team cut as well with that?
Yeah.
From stuff I've seen in the paper, we haven't got a massive budget for our women's team just because we're trying to build that up. However, it would take such a detrimental effect to not only the men's team, but the women's team.
Even if they sell, because we don't know who would take charge after. They're not going to leave Jack Sullivan in charge if new owners come in. You know what I mean? And he actually has done a great job with the women's club.
He's done brilliant.
That's what I mean. So yeah, I fear for that as well. Because when that program is taking a step forward, that would suck if it had to take a step back. The more the merrier in the West Ham world. And I just seriously, I actually got to meet him. I met him doing a stadium tour, and he said that he watches Reece and Allie's West Ham Woman show. That was freaking cool. Jack Sullivan, anyway. But anyway, I don't know, Reece. I don't know what would happen.
One thing as well, Tim, with Jack is he does love this club for me. When I look at him and his passion for the women's team and the project, you can see that shining through.
Yeah.
So I would be gutted to see Jack go if it was to happen. However, right now it's all ifs, buts, and maybes.
But we never know, because honestly, even if he were to go, or basically if we were to sell and he were to leave, maybe the new ownership might even work out better for the West Ham women's team. So who knows? We don't know. But yeah, it's scary either way. Looks like Barry says, look what they did with Birmingham. Yeah,
he's right. He's right.
He is right.
That's coming from a Tottenham fan, but we all know that what happened, at Birmingham. We was all warned that, but all West Ham fans, be careful what you wish for and all that. Well, they came in and look, we've had just over 10 years of failure. We're in the same position now as when they took over. And I know you just said Reece and all that. You seem like to be a bit of a Sullivan fan. Well, I absolutely despise them. I despise Sullivan, Gold, Brady, Jack Sullivan. I know you're to do with women's football there and all that, but I'm totally opposite to you. I want them three, Jack Sullivan, even David Sullivan Jr., out of the club. Get them out of my club. Our club, sorry. Just can't stand them. Sorry. They're ruining my club. Our club.
Yeah, no, listen, that's honestly, it's just, the point is, though, that it would, he basically, Reece was super passionate about the women's team.
I understand that.
Yeah, he was just saying that, if they do go, that means Jack goes with them, and that means the West Ham women's team could suffer. So basically, the men's team does great, but it's double-edged sword. It's one of those, catch-22s in a way.
I said this to Ali, though, on one of our podcasts. It's not that I'm a Sullivan and Gold fan, or it's not that I want them out. I'm undecided on that debate personally, because to be honest, I now, since we've left the bowling ground, I don't follow the men's team as passionately as I did when we was there, and so I look more on a woman's West Ham woman to do with anything for the club, because that's the side of the club now that I love. So yeah, to be honest, Greg, I'm undecided with the debate. However, I think one thing I do sense with most of the fans with the men's team is they do want them out, clearly.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I think I really haven't had anyone say they want them in. I have not had anyone on this show, and I'll have anybody on this show so long as they're a West Ham supporter. But I've not had anyone say, or I've not even spoken to anyone that has been a pro.
There are a few board lovers out there, Tim. I tell you, want to go on the message boards and all that. There are a few out there.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Surprising, really, but there you go.
We need to get one on the show.
If you ask them what they've actually done for the club, seriously, all they're going to say to you is, "Oh, we've got a lovely, shiny, spanking, brand new ground over there." Well, one, it ain't ours, and two,
that's what I mean. It's not even ours.
I sit in the lower tier. Tim, and it's just a pile of scaffolding on the Olympic seat sitting underneath, just below us. You know what I mean? Sitting on scaffolding. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
When we interviewed your son, Cameron, we had Steve Mothersoul was one of the guys that did that. I did the stadium tour with him. Have you ever done the stadium tour?
Yeah, we done that in the first season. Cameron took me there for my birthday.
That's right. So we got to see firsthand the scaffolding and the zip ties holding it together, and we got to see the track underneath the stands, and we saw the whole 9 yards. It was crazy. But however, the suites, the owners' boxes and everything else were dressed to the nines. I mean, that was immaculate. It was beautiful. The cushy, literally cushioned seats, and that looked fantastic.
We were promised those, Tim. When we went to the Stratford. Seriously. We was promised those when we went to the reservation centre at Stratford, when we booked our seats for the new stadium, and we were told, like, the seats you're sitting on now, when you was viewing the video, to say this is your view and all that, these will be your seats. Nice padded seats, white seats, claret seats, sky blue seats. Really? We're just sitting on bits of plastic. I know that's just a trivial little thing, but that, it's just like more lies again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Darren says he sits next to the big man. Ask him if he reckons Moyes will be sacked, and when is he going to get a beer in?
Smithy, you're a cunt, mate. I'm not going to get a beer in because I don't drink anyway, but I might buy him one at the end of the season. Moyes getting sacked. He shouldn't even be there, but there you go. If we go down, I don't think the board will get rid of him. That's if they're there for much longer. I don't think they'll get rid of him, even though you said to him about Nolan being there.
Yeah,
Or Lee Bowyer. If we went to the championship, him or Lee Bowyer in charge, or vice versa, one of them, and then the other one as a number 2.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'll get rid of him. I think they'll stick with him because it's a cheap option. He's only on an 18-month deal anyway. So
that's it in a nutshell. I mean, they already have him on a contract, and that's not really going to change if they go up or down. So I don't see it happening either. Reece, do you see the board sacking Moyes even if the results continue to go down?
No, because I think they feel he'll be a good manager in the Championship, which I disagree with. If they do sack Moyes, the route I think they will take though is appointing Nolan as manager and having a young players growing through, and kind of the Lampard project of young manager with a young team that's going to be successful. And I think because that will be a cheap option as well. But like I said, if we go down to the Championship, it's going to be detrimental to every side of the club.
Yeah.
I think if we go down, we won't go up for at least 3 years.
I'll tell you what, Reece, I think it may be longer than that. We might be another Portsmouth, Leeds, Sheffield United. Sheffield United were down for a while, but not too long. But I mean, Sheffield Wednesday,
Bolton,
teams like
Blackburn, Blackpool, all that shit. Yeah.
Blackburn won the Premier League. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
So, and they're down there. They're struggling to get back. They even went down to the old third division. Yeah. Portsmouth, and as I just said, you know what I mean? If we go that route, or even if we go to the Championship, I'll tell you what, we'll struggle to get back this time. I'll tell you, just because of not because of the new stadium, but just because of the board we got and all that. And I seriously can't see us getting back for a long, long time.
I know, but
probably not in my lifetime. I tell you that now.
I don't see them selling straight away. That's what I want to ask you both. So, somebody earlier asked the same question. Do you think that they would actually sell if we went down? I don't see them selling if we go down because they're going to get less money for the club, and that's what they're all about is the money, right? So you would think that they would wait to get promoted again, or I don't know, or if we barely scrape by this season, maybe in the next year or two they'll sell. I don't know. My point is,
we're scraping by far too many times, and it's you know.
But so long as we're in the Premier League, they'll sell. Is my point. I don't see them getting as much money if we were obviously in Championship or League One or whatever. And I don't think they would take a loss on it. You know what I mean? I think they would want to really get as much money as possible.
But Tim, you know as well as I do, and Reece as well. It's when they joined us, David Gold come out with him, you know, saying, "Oh, within 5 to 7 years, we'll be in the Champions League and all that stuff." Like we got all the images of when we went to the stadium of what stadium's going to be like. We're so far off of that; it's unreal. You know what I mean? We've gone backwards and backwards. Champions League, come on, you're having a laugh, aren't you? We're nowhere near it. We're only near the Europa League. You know what I mean? So for them to join us 10 years ago and then still be in this position 10 years later, it's
last season I was going over these stupid conspiracy theories because the co-founder of American Hammers TV, my original co-host Lee, he's usually a conspiracy theorist, and I didn't buy into any of that shit. Then all of a sudden, I kept noticing that holy shit! Like every time we got close to the European places last season, every single time we lost a match. Is that, to me, it was like the board saying we don't want to have to spend extra money to go to friggin' Romania next year, or fly off to friggin' some other small country or whatever the case may be. My point is they didn't want to have to spend all that extra money to do Europa League qualifiers. This would be in this season actually. Every time that we get close, we lost. And Pellegrini put out the shittiest friggin' squad. And the match that actually got me to say, you know what? I think Lee's right. I think this is fucking right. Is when he started Lucas Perez and he started Pedro Obiang against Everton last season, and we lost. I think it was 2-0, but it was the worst performance I've ever seen in my life. But literally, if we had beaten them, we would have bounced up to 7th, and we would have, leapfrogged.
Exactly. You 7th. Every time we were saying, if we win today, we jump into 7th place, and then we're practically in Europe and all that. And it was always like 7th place. We never even actually got to 7th place. We was always 8th, 9th, 10th, and all that, and then we just tailed off.
Yeah.
It seemed like we couldn't get over that line of actually getting 7th and above.
But every time it was the team selection that was like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, why? Anyway, I thought it had the board had something to do with that last year, but
I think as well, we have to think about this year. I think there was one weekend where we could have gone up to 4th and we lost, but ever since that moment, we dropped like a sack of shit. So there has to be something behind it. I think Pellegrini in the end had to go. Whether we got the right man in is a different debate. Greg and you both seem to say no, Moyes isn't the right man for the job. I'm undecided with that. But there's something there, and everything with the club as well. I mean, even there's a key thing that I said, that I don't follow the men's team as much, and what Greg's saying about the London Stadium, and we both said it isn't the same. There's a link with everything we're saying here, and there's something behind this club right now which isn't working, and we need to fix.
But Jane Lawrence is right. What she just said at the bottom there, she just said about women's football over there. Yeah. It'll still be okay if Sullivan goes, so there'll still be investment there. Because women's football is taken off. Not that I'm a women's football fan, but she's right. What she said, it'll still be investment there.
Yeah. And listen, thank you everyone who's been making this chat room very lively today. I appreciate it. I love pulling up these comments. I love seeing the interaction because listen, you got Pam and Jane and Darren and everyone else popping over on Facebook. We also have comments on YouTube. I love it. So keep the comments going. What were you saying, Reece? Sorry, I cut you off.
I think as well, I agree that the women's team will get investment.
Yeah.
However, one thing that I would like, if the new owners coming for both the men's and the women's team, would kind of be with what Man City have done, where they've brought both the sections together and showed that equal rights, because that's attractive to a modern day fan. So that's what I'd like if new owners do come in.
Where did
But Reece, not being funny, I know you're into the women's game, like also all West Ham's women and all that, but not literally. What it is like, look at the attendances they get. Look at the attendances they get over there. Come on, you're lucky you get one man and his dog over there. You know what I mean? You got a few thousand that went to the cup final last year, but that was only on the same day we played Southampton home, and a few people like shot off at half time just to make the game. But then, start of this season, they were trying to flog season tickets. I've had a season ticket for 39 years now. They're trying to flog me one to go and see the women for, I think, 15 or 20 quid.
Yeah.
You still don't get hardly anyone over there.
15 to 20 quid for
a massive thing with that, Greg, is though as well, from people I speak to that support West Ham and do want to get involved with the women's team, is where the location of the ground is. The Rush Green Stadium is so difficult to get to, and I think that affects the attendances. But you are right, women's football has got a long way to go in terms of attendances. However, I never get why they don't play them in the men's stadium.
League itself,
we've got 30,000 there.
The league itself is starting to do things to help grow the league itself. So I mean, as football grows worldwide, I mean, which it has been doing over the last 10 years, I think, the women's game will definitely grow as well. Especially in countries like here in America. I think women's soccer is way more important than men's soccer over here, as they call it. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's one of those things where as it grows worldwide, and which it hadn't had the attention, the women's football in England did not have the attention here in America. But now it's starting to get that. Now with the FA, WSL player and everything else, we're getting more and more advertisements for it. So as that grows, I think everyone will also benefit. Real quick, there was a question in here that I think I missed. Someone asked, shit.
Well, you look for that question though, Tim. Another
Yeah.
thing with a women's game is if the clubs let the women's team play in the men's stadium for a consistent amount of time, the attendances will grow. It's just that stereotype around it that gets on my nerves, to be honest.
Yeah, probably right.
Yeah, we played there against Spurs last season. I think they got 25,000, 30,000, but that was just because it was an experimental game or something like that. I don't think you'll get it every game. You won't get it every game.
No, but obviously a lot of people showed up because they wanted to see us at least.
It's about building it, though, really.
Yeah, of course. Well, that wasn't the question. Anyway, yeah. Someone asked, okay, how you doing, Tim? And that's not the question, but hey, I'm doing good. How are you? I'm chatting with Gregg and Reece here, so I'm having a good time. We got a comment on Periscope too. So it says, it said this, I don't know what they meant by right there, but I can't see them selling up anytime soon. I don't think any of us can see them selling up anytime soon, especially for the amount of money that they're asking. Where's the other one? Okay, this is a good one question. This is from good friend Forever Blowing Bubbles. I got to meet him when I went over there last time. Gregg, what do you think? Which players will leave if we get relegated, and who will stay? At least the most important ones.
90% of the squad. Seriously, it's not like the olden days. I remember 1980 and all that, 1981, 79, Trevor Brooklyn, we went down, Billy Bonds, Frank Lampard Sr., Parksy. They all stayed. It's a different era now. It's player power now and all that. And everyone, they want to be in the Premier League. They want to be in Europa League. They want to be in the Champions League. You won't get which players will leave. You'll get 90% of them leave. You'll get the youngsters staying. Obviously, Rice won't. Rice will go. But we've got players on loan like Cullen, Nathan Holland, and all that. They'll stay. But that's it. You'll get all the big earners off the books and all that. Anderson will go. Haller will go. 90% of them will go. Seriously.
Yeah. That's funny because we do a lot of shows where we have 4 or 5 different people just shooting the shit on different news items and topics. And I think one of the episodes we did recently, maybe a week or two ago, was the 90 million pound price tag on Declan Rice. And would we take it? Is it enough? Is it too much? Like, is that ridiculous? Would that ever happen? Blah 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 blah. What would it do to the club? So whether we go down or not, would either of you guys take 90 million pounds for Declan Rice? Start with you, Gregg.
I think they'd bite your hand off if you offered 90 million for him. If you want to speak, seriously. Even if they stayed up, I think they'll take it. They go down. Are you really going to get 90 million for him if they go down?
No.
It'll be half of that.
Yeah. So would you take it?
Relegation on his CV if we go down.
Would you take 90 million pounds for him, even if we stayed up?
No. Build a team around him. We used to be a selling club years ago.
Yeah.
Let's build a team around our youngsters instead of buying old has-beens and stuff like that. Let's build a team around them. Even like Nathan Holland and all that when they come back to us. Yeah. Build a team around the youngsters. We've got too many has-beens. Noble shouldn't be there anymore. I'm not a Noble fan. Everyone knows that who knows me. I'm not a Noble fan. So let's get the youngsters in. Even if we start next season, stay up, for next season.
I agree with you.
Get Rice in there and make him the focal point of our team.
We've been crying for that, and then we see them, sell off some of our, not just loan out our youth players. They sold off a few of our youth players this January, and it was kind of frustrating. Like Anthony Scully and so on, who were like tearing it up in the Premier League too.
Joe Powell's gone to Burton. Joe Powell, he's an absolute. He's a fantastic prospect.
Scully went to Lincoln, and that's what I'm saying. So Powell,
Connor Coventry's gone out on loan. I know they're obviously coming back, but letting Joe Powell go permanently, it's an absolute joke. He's a good prospect, I tell you. Yeah. He'll come back up the leagues. He won't be down that low much longer.
No,
he's a good prospect, Joe Powell.
We definitely should, because basically, I purchased this shirt behind me, and I made a social media post the other day. It's a James Tompkins jersey. Actually, it's number 30, not even number 5. So that was from the 9-10 season. First. So anyway, I was talking about him and a good friend of ours, good friend of mine, Jack Collison, and players like that. I wish they were with us today. I wish Jack was still healthy enough to play, and I wish James Tompkins was still with us. Those are academy boys. I mean, James Tompkins has been specifically. I mean, he'd been with us since age 7 in our academy. I mean, that's someone who grew up with us and so on. And we decided that a 36-year-old James Collins, who I love still, was too good to keep James Tompkins around, who was, I think 27 at the time when we sold him. So it's just one of those things where piss poor decisions when it comes down to getting rid of our youth, especially recently, and we need to build around that. But Wayne from Dallas Hammers, Wayne McMullen, guy that we've had on the show a bunch of times, used to co-host shows and host shows with us. He made a good point the other night with Lee, saying that it's one of those things where this isn't the 80s anymore. This isn't the 70s anymore. Back then, I mean, 90% of the club was Englishmen. I mean, it was homegrown players that actually had grit, and they put in all the, they had the experience of playing English football. And now it's, I guess, 80%, foreign league players. Nothing against foreign league players. I mean, they're probably good people and they play very well, but they're not used to the Premier League. And then they come in, we spend 40 million pounds on a guy. We don't even play him in the right position. I mean, we don't play him correctly. And now he looks like a complete flop. But again, he wasn't even used to this type of league. He was used to the Bundesliga. And then we have Felipe Anderson, who still hasn't really settled in 100%. He's not consistent. Yeah, he shows flashes, but I mean, Serie A is not the same as the Premier League. It's not the same league at all. Fornal, same deal. The guy's finally starting to, it took him a while to start to get in a groove, and then we don't even play him anymore. Where the hell is he anyway? But yeah, that's another one where it takes a while for them to settle into a league like this. And those are the guys that we keep splashing the cash at.
Yeah, but that's one of the things that's put us in this situation. We've spent money in the wrong areas. Why didn't we take a bit of encouragement and instead of going to splash on cash on good European talent that ain't going to cut it in the Premier League, why didn't we build a young team with a young manager, maybe even like Bilic, that a bit like the Ajax project last year? Why couldn't we go and do that and get European football that way? Because we've wasted tons of money and sold the wrong players, and that's one of the things that's got us into the situations. For me, we shouldn't have got rid of Bilic. He was a good manager. However, he came through a tough spell with all the Payet saga and then got unfairly sacked. So we've made wrong decisions time and again, and that's what's got us in this situation.
How did he get unfairly sacked, Reece? Because results weren't exactly going our way. I know.
And he
sold. The last season at Bowling was something special for everyone. Even Noble was on fire that season, but after that, as soon as we moved to a new stadium, it started to go pear-shaped, and something had to give. And I don't mean Bilic was a man for the job.
But we have I skipped. So I found that question I was looking for about 15 minutes ago, and it basically says, "What hope do we have of staying up when we read stuff like this?" Moyes does not class Premier League survival as success. That's a quote. Moyes does not class Premier League survival as success. So what hope do we have of staying up when we have a manager that believes that? Great.
Well, I've not seen that quote, but when you see some of the teams that Moyes is picking and some of his tactics, you wonder if he actually wants to be in the Premier League, to be honest with you. Because I think he knows he's still going to be there if we go down. So Moyes is in a win-win situation, you know what I mean? So, as I say, I've not seen that quote, but...
Yeah. Reece, what do you think about that?
I think that's more of Moyes just trying to get fans on board with him to say, I think what he means is, as a club, West Ham should be higher than Premier League survival. However, I do agree with Gregg there that I don't think Moyes cares if we start or go down. He knows he's going to be there at the end of the season, whatever division we're in, and I think that was the mistake we've made with that 18-month contract. I think he's got. If you give a manager that, and then you basically secured his long-term future to us. If you would have gave him a 6 months contract, he would have been a bit more passionate about us staying up, because he knows he would have been thrown in the deep end again.
Well, that's what he got before Reece, wasn't it? That's what he got to the end of that season.
Yeah, and I think that gave him the passion to do well. However, I think Arnautovic was part of that survival. I think he kept us up more than Moyes did now. So yeah, I don't think Moyes cares really.
Yeah. All right. So now's the time. I think we actually went a little past the time. But thank you to everyone who, everyone in the chat room anyway, that was asking these questions for us. But right now it's Hammers polls time. So I'm gonna pull up. We only have time for a few because we got to get into the rapid fire questions. Yeah. So let me pull this up. All right. So here we go. The first one we're going to ask is actually this one. So with 2 new coaches at West Ham till the end of the season, not session, I guess you could say session, I guess, where do they need to strengthen? Where do they need to strengthen? Are they asking about coaches? Are they asking about...
Exactly. And what they mean at the end of the session, is that supposed to mean to the end of the season?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because obviously we're at the transfer window now. You can't sign anyone. So where they need to strengthen, well, we can't.
So at the end of the season. So basically, at the end of the season, where do we need to strengthen? Attack, defense, scoring goals, or all of the above?
Both ends of the pitch.
All depends what league we're in, but we do need to strengthen anyway.
Yeah.
Both ends of the pitch.
All right.
Yeah, so all of the above then, really.
Yeah, I guess it's all of the above. Yeah, 60% say all of the above. Basically, if anyone watching this wants to head on over to Twitter and check out Hammer's polls and vote yourself, that would be kind of cool. Next question is, if West Ham do get relegated this season, then does Mark Noble become more or less important to the team in Championship? So more important or less important?
I don't think he should be at the club. He even said himself. No, seriously, Tim.
I know.
I think he's had his time, Mark Noble. You know what I mean? He even said when he came on as a sub against West Brom the other week, if Moyes is relying on a 33-year-old to come on and change the game, it's wrong. Noble's had his time. That's what I was saying earlier. People like Cullen, Holland, and all that win the Championship. They'll be important players for us. Connor Coventry and all that. But no, Mark Noble, should be anywhere near the first team. Even now, I think he should be near the first team spot.
What do you think, Reece?
I think off the pitch he'll become more important, depending what route we take. If we take the route of young players, it'll become more important to guide them through his experience with first team football. However,
what role would you give him, Reece? What role would you give him? Because I don't think he's ready to quit yet, but I'm just saying, what role would you give him?
I think you just keep him there in sort of a reserve player that just guides the young players through, really, because he's.
I think it's a bit expensive. I think it's a bit expensive to have just there as a reserve player and guide players through. I don't think the board will have that, whether he's West Ham through and through or not. I don't think they'll allow that.
Yeah, I mean, he must have something in his contract where he has to take a pay cut, no, to go down. I mean, I don't know.
I think they all do, Tim. About 50%, I think.
But wouldn't no?
I think they do. I'm not 100% on it, but.
Well, I guarantee you. So basically, Greg, you say it yourself. You're probably one of the few that really feel that way about Noble. Knowing Twitter, which a lot of these polls, they get votes based on, they're very passionate. They might not even be logical, but the answer is usually, super passionate. So I would say that my guess is that a massive chunk said more important out of these 209 votes. I'd probably say about, my guess would be at least 75% say more important, at least. And 70%. Okay.
The thing with Noble, though, the perfect thing for him to do would maybe become a youth coach at the club or something, and guide young players through.
So
that might be his role in the future, but at the moment, I don't.
Irish Tommy, who actually was the co-host who interviewed your son there, Greg, says Noble can't even play 38 games, much less 46. So definitely less important.
Exactly. In the championship, plus you'll be starting off in the League Cup earlier as well. I know it's only one game, but you know what I mean. So it's like all practically one game every 2 games a week, midweek Saturday. So I don't think Noble can do that.
Yeah, well, real quick from Mark Boots in the chat, Facebook actually says, let's face it, we're a poison chalice. Someone asked me how come Ancelotti went to Everton and not to us. All simple. No self-respecting manager wants anything to do with us. We can't attract world-class players because we're not playing Champions League football. And I think, too, managers look at the board and sadly our fans, and they stay well away. That's a fair point. Mark?
It's a fair point. Everton ain't playing Champions League football, are they?
No. But they're probably going to be playing Europa League this next season. They've been playing very well since Ancelotti came on board. They're moving on up. Actually, Hammers Polls themselves told me to scroll ahead, I think down, so I could see there was a question from, boy, I guess maybe up. I don't know. He told me there was another question that he wanted us to ask. Well, we'll do this one first. All right. So basically, if West Ham were to survive this season, would it be time for a change of captaincy at the start of the next campaign? So, if we survive,
seeing as I'm not a Noble fan, I think you know my views on that.
Come on, we can't change your mind here. So, Reece, I guess I'll start with you then. You think it's time for a change of a captain? Yeah. I think we're unanimous in that one.
I'll take Noble out of the captaincy if we stay up. Probably take him out of the team as well, and put Declan Rice as captain and build around Declan Rice. Like Gregg said.
So the same people who
I think Reece, even if we survive this season, I think obviously I'd like him to stay, but I think he'll be off at the end of the season. He deserves to be playing hard.
Yeah,
he deserves to be playing higher up the league than where he is now.
If we survive though, Greg, and get rid of him, I think we'll go down the next season because we'll have nobody there that's a leader anymore.
Well, all depends who they're going to bring in. All depends who they're going to let go in the summer and all that. So you might get people like Anderson, Haller and all that thinking, Christ, we struggled this season. I want out and all that. But players are journeymen, you know what I mean? They don't want to fight down the bottom.
I don't think Haller's good enough.
Yeah.
I don't personally. He started off the season okay, but I think he's a lazy son, so to be honest with you. He hasn't had the support sometimes, you know what I mean? One up top, just him and all that, but I think he's lazy, to be honest with you. But
I'm not sure if this is the question or not, but so who should be West Ham's manager next season between Moyes, Allardyce, Eddie Howe, and Tony Pulis? Come on.
Really?
Get the fuck out of here with that. Well, it looks like it's already been answered.
Number 1 and 4 take out the equation.
1,000 votes already. That's damn good for Hammer's polls. I'm glad to see that. A lot of people engaging, but 64% say Eddie Howe. For a guy who's struggling with Bournemouth, why would we want that? I'd rather have Sean Dyche, who's actually doing good with a shitty Burnley team. You know what I mean? If it came down to the two.
Yeah, I think he actually said that he wanted to come to us, didn't he? And obviously the board have looked elsewhere, and look, they've got David Moyes.
Well, out of this one, I'd pick Allardyce.
Exactly. I know there's a few people out there don't like Allardyce, but out of them 4 there,
just think about it. Yeah, seriously. Allardyce. Just picture this for everyone who is talking shit or ever talks shit about Allardyce. Look at what Allardyce. Look at the talent that Allardyce had. I mean, yes, it was his fault because he did a lot of the signings. He also said that he was given presents by David Sullivan frequently. But look at that those teams that he had, and he finished 10th in his first season. With the not first season, but he finished 10th with our team, and so did Pellegrini. But anyway, long story short, can you imagine him with talent? If he actually had a talented squad, can you imagine how well he'd do? You know what I'm saying? That's all I can think of and see. So anyway, there's that one. The hell is this?
I think with Allardyce as well, there's managers that just want to play nice football and don't really care about the result, and then there's managers that will do anything to win, and Allardyce is the manager that will do anything to win.
Yeah.
And I actually think Allardyce had us playing some of our best football for a while.
Yeah. This next question here, I think we all already answered this, but we'll just answer it anyway. This is from Edward James. Monday night, which would you rather? Would you rather attack Liverpool and go for it, win, lose, or draw, or park the bus?
Number 1. I hate the term parking the bus because we can't park fuck all, to be honest with you.
So 84% say that's what they want, but it should have been on Monday night. What do you think will happen? I would say number 2.
If you go out on a football pitch, cross that white line, and you go out there not to lose, you'll lose.
Mm-hmm.
Go out to attack. If you lose, you go out and attack them. And you lose. At least you give it a go. Don't park the bus or whatever you want to call it.
Here's the last one before we get into the rapid fire. This one's from Adam MC1R. What's more important for West Ham, hiring a managing director or a head coach? I think I know the answer to this one as well. Start with you, Reece.
Probably a head coach.
Okay.
You stay hiring a managing director like this.
Well, think about it. Think about it before you answer that, Greg, because think about who would be hiring that managing director, and just because they're getting rid of, say, a Karen Brady or whatever, or someone like that, who would they replace? And would you trust them to replace them with someone half decent?
Sullivan won't ever get rid of Karen Brady. They'll either all go as free or they'll all stay.
I don't trust them to pick either. So I don't know. Well, we'll see what they said. I'll pick head coach at 150 votes. It was close, damn close. So anyway, there's only 150 votes on this one, people. So if you're watching this, can you head on over to Hammers Polls and place your votes? A lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool fun. All right, Reece, do you have those questions pulled up, buddy?
Yes, I do.
Greg, what we'd like to do is we pretty much have asked all of our interviews. We have the same 10 questions that we ask everybody. And it's just a lot of fun because they're completely random questions. Most of them are, more than half of them are West Ham related. And then it's just nice to hear everyone's different answers because we can't really predict what everyone's going to say. So, Reece, whenever you're ready.
First question is meat pie or apple pie, Greg?
Size of me, got to be meat pie.
Any particular kind?
Chicken and mushroom.
Next one, Reece.
I'll agree with meat pie. Steak and kidney for me, though.
Steak and kidney seems to be the most popular answer out of that. Although we, believe it or not, we do get a lot of our UK guests actually pick apple pie for whatever reason.
I hate apple pie. It's disgusting.
Well, with a bit of custard and ice cream, yeah, but let's stick with meat pie.
That sounds good. Get me hungry. All right. Next.
Who is your favourite current West Ham player?
Oh. Mikel Antonio.
Fair enough.
I'll tell you why. He gives 100% every game.
Mm-hmm.
He does burn himself out.
Rice does, Rice does, but I'll tell you what. For effort, Mikel Antonio.
For me, it's joint between Fabianski and Mikel Antonio. But the trouble with Fabianski is he keeps on getting injured regularly now. Yeah.
I hate goalkeepers, so that's another story for another time. I tend to always talk about that on my shows. The goalkeeper has one job, that's to keep the ball out of the net. And when you give up 7 goals in the last 3 matches, I'm not your fan. So anyway, next.
Who frustrates you the most in the current West Ham squad?
Arthur Masaraku.
Yeah, it's got to be
that
Arthur
seems
Masaraku.
to be, that one comes up a lot. That one and I guess Fredericks comes up quite a bit, and also Antonio, because Antonio just can't stay fit, man. And that's another one.
Same as Fredericks, though, Tim. You know what I mean? He's always getting a knock. Exactly. He's out for the season now, anyway.
That's the reason. I mean, 100%. Yeah. I just think I'm frustrated with him. He's my number one answer on that one because he likes to give the ball to the other team. Doesn't really look up and pass to his own teammates. But anyway, Reece, go ahead.
FA Cup or top 4 finish?
FA Cup. Silverware. I want Cameron to go to a cup final with me and see us pick up silverware, not playoff trophies or anything like that. Okay, they're good at the time, but it means we've dropped out of the Premier League and then we're going back to the Premier League. I want to be a stabilised Premier League club. I want to see us win the League Cup or FA Cup and take my boy there, and that'll be the best day of my life.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think we've only had, out of the 100+ people that we've asked this question, I think only 3 said top 4 finish, because that's so vague. Meaning, like, if you win the league, which I can't see that ever happening. you hoist the trophy, and also you're automatically in Champions League. And wouldn't it be cool to actually see West Ham win the league once? But it says top 4 finish, so that could be any of those places. But yes, 97 or 98% of the people who've been asked that question always say FA Cup, and for the same reasons that you said, Greg. So, yeah.
What about West Ham do you love?
Christ, how long we got? I was just brought up on them from my dad, and obviously like taking Cameron now as a baby and growing up now, and there's just too many things about West Ham I love. It used to be the community spirit, like the class as a family club and all that, but I tell you, I know people said it before, but I tell you what, we've got the fucking best fans in the world. We really have. We've put up with some shit over the years. We have the best supporters in the country and in the whole world. Seriously.
So that, in a nutshell, is the number one answer. I mean, that's in one way, shape, or form, pretty much what you just said. It's the supporters, the fans, and just the club environment from a supporter standpoint. How we all stick together no matter what. Even best fans in the world. You're right.
What the thing that I love about West Ham as well is for me, when I was a youngster going to the bowling grounds, I always used to see all my mates over there, all my family. It's kind of like a family gathering for me. And also with the bowling ground is, even if you didn't know the person sitting next to you before a game, you'd get to know them afterwards, and you'd always regularly speak to them. It's just that community and family spirit. However, now I'd probably have to say the women's team, because I think that they're a shining light on what's a bad situation right now, really.
Yeah.
What about West Ham do you hate? I think we'll know Greg's answer.
I might drop the C-bomb in here. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Them 3 cunts who run our club, they're deceitful. They just come out with lie after lie. We've not moved on with them in 10 years. I want Gold, Sullivan and Brady out. And the more people we get at that protest Saturday, sorry for bringing this up, let's get outside those main gates and make life hell for them. I'll tell you what, I want them 3 out of our club. That's it. I'll be here all night if I carry on about them 3. Seriously.
And that's February 29th, the little stroll, right? The Stratford stroll, I guess it is. Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing though, Tim. If we had 60,000 Greggs in that London stadium, that place would be rocking. Because
I appreciate it, Reece. Thank you very much. But it's more like me. I'm not saying I'm the best fan out there or the biggest fan. There's loads that like me and better. But I've just I grew up with the Kerns, Browns, and the Icelandics and all that. And I'll tell you what, as much as I hated them as well, they never sold our spiritual home.
That's it. That will forever be attached to them. You're right.
But see the passion Greg's got there now. When I've been to the London Stadium, I ain't come across one West Ham fan like that. It's just people that are there for the day out now. If we had more people like Greg, like I said, that place would be rocking. And the fact that Greg's going out of his on Saturday to protest just shows his passion for the club. Brilliant, mate. What sound makes you happy?
Sorry, Reece, what was that?
What sound makes you happy, Greg?
The greatest song in the world, when everyone sings it at full voice, I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles. My God, brilliant. And also, the ball hitting the net and West Ham score.
That's the tie for those 2 tie for the number 1 answer. 100%. Yeah.
Football related is the West Ham song and the West Ham shot hitting the net. However, one thing outside of football that I do love hearing, and I heard quite a lot this morning, was Fury's song "Fury's on Fire," and the fighter is getting terrified.
Well, my boy Cameron's out there. You know that, Tim. We was talking in rehearsals. Cameron's out there. He's having a brilliant time. He's been texting me and ringing me all the time, and He's having a fantastic time. So it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Christ, I wish that we had some of that over at West Ham and all that. Like, just something like that. Just something we can grasp. Just a little bit of success and all that. That's all I want.
That's right.
What is your favourite curse word?
I think he's already said it, but go ahead.
Right. There's a few really. God. Cunt, fuck, bollocks. My favourite is the C word, but it seems to be every other word that I use. So you can't beat it, can you? Like you can do like a wrong turning down the road or something. You go, you cunt, or something. Like there's always a use for the word cunt. You know what I mean? Tottenham fans are cunts, apart from my mate Barry Warwick. But there you go.
I think we know Greg's answer as well. What team do you love to beat?
If they was in our league or we was in their league, Millwall. But obviously in the Premier League, Tottenham. Closely followed by Liverpool or Manchester United. Not too bothered about Arsenal, Chelsea.
Yeah, I'd agree with Tottenham and
because they're in our league. But obviously, if they weren't,
yeah. And as well, it kind of crosses through to the women's side as well. Because Tim, if you would have seen my co-host on At Girls in Claret Alley when they beat us at the London Stadium, fuck me, was she miserable for about 3 weeks. Name a player, past or present day, that epitomises West Ham United.
It's only one. William Arthur Bonds, Billy Bonds.
Yeah.
West Ham United through and through. Okay, started out at Charlton, like 95 games there, but Billy Bonds and Trevor Brooking, but Billy Bonds just for the way he played.
Yeah, Trevor Brooking and Billy Bonds seem to be the number one answers. Yeah, close tie. Yeah. We've also heard, Di Canio and Dix and obviously Bobby Moore seems to be a given. So no one who's been on the show has really seen him play. So
apart from the latter there, Tim, the ones you just mentioned, Di Canio and Dix.
Yeah,
they're not in. I know the modern day fan will probably disagree with me, but don't even put him in the same league as Brooklyn and Bonds. Seriously, I'm brought up from old school and all that. Brooklyn and Bonds epitomise everything about West Ham. Di Canio's a journeyman. Dix, okay, good player, great player if you want, but them two for me were just head and shoulders above anyone else. I know you had players like Devonshire and all that, Pop Robson and other players and all that, but them two just come out on top by far. Where are you going, Tim? Here he's back.
Next.
If you could take a time machine back to experience anything to do with West Ham United, where would you go?
First ever game with my late dad, 22nd of November 1969 against Derby County. And taking my son to his first ever game. And just being at every game that I can, that I've been with my son, Cameron, ever since. The playoff final against Blackpool stands out. But yeah, the first game with my dad that I got taken to, and then the first game that I took Cameron to.
Awesome. So. Yeah, it's my favorite question. I love hearing all the answers. The number one answer usually is FA Cup final 1980 or 66.
Yeah, I was there, Tim. I was only 15. I went there. 1975 one, Fulham. It's been the charity shields and all that, but on a personal level, like family, it's got to be with my dad and my son. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, and the last game of the bowling usually pops up too from time to time, especially with newer fans.
Yeah, that's what I would have said.
Yeah. I think Cameron said that last. I think Cameron said that last week.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, Listen, I got to thank everybody in the chat room who tuned in from Periscope and Facebook and obviously YouTube. If you're on Facebook or Periscope watching this, please head on over to YouTube and subscribe to American Hammers TV. I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, and listen, Greg, I can't thank you enough. I can't, tell your son to remind him that we appreciate that he came on last week. It's been great having you guys on. You guys are top.
I think he said he might watch this. I think obviously he's out in the States at the moment. I think he said he's going to try and watch this. If not, he'll watch it when he gets back.
Oh yeah. We'd love to have you guys back on. So this is what we usually do. We usually interview people first, and then we bring them back on different shows from time to time because we have a lot of like chat shows where it's like 3 or 4 or 5 of us. So we'd love to have you guys back. Really appreciate your time. I think
you need to get the bleep machine out next time, though.
I'm going to remove our pictures real quick so that people can see the picture in the background. This is about the, and then I'll talk to you guys off the air. So just hang tight, okay? But so just want to say thank you to everybody who's watched, and come on, you Irons.
Can I just say one more thing?
Sure, go for it.
David Gold, David Sullivan, and Karen Brady, fuck off from our club. Please, fuck off.
In that note, I will show the image in the background, which is about the protest, and then we will talk to you soon.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Reece.
I'll talk to you in just a minute.